Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another straight up solo. And in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at what I think of City of Crowns, which is the expansion for Paladins of the West Kingdom. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And as usual, folks, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not done so already. So, what does this expansion do for us? Well, first things first, it changes the AI board a little bit to offer some different interaction here with regards to the actions that don't make you take actions. So it's a longer track. It still has you loop around to bump up your other components, but it's a little bit longer. And in some ways, it's a little more confusing because the way that these icons work now, I'm still not quite sure what happens. Like the orange ones, for instance, clearly have to do with the muster cards as far as I can tell. These cards over here. But I'm not 100% sure how that looks because these are different than, there's no like blocking of those. There are 4 of them, but it just makes, it's a little bit unexplained. At least I can't figure that part out. So what do you really get though? You get the sideboard. The sideboard lets you do the muster action and the negotiate action. The negotiate cards, I think, are quite cool. I like them. They basically offer you the opportunity to do set collection. If you have diplomacy up at a certain level. Actually, no, I'm sorry. If they let you do set collection if you have your other 3 categories up at a certain level to get these kind of icons, which allow you to score 0, 2, 5, or 9, depending on how many of a specific one you have. And you're trying to get different ones. So you're trying to get, for instance, the bag, the food, the cross, and then maybe the conflict. That would be all 4 types. That would be a 9 score. If you get 3 of one type, you can pick up one of these, which lets you get a specific worker of a specific color when you pass at the end of each round. And so that's kind of cool. They have those. I like this mechanic because it just gives you different ways to do some of these actions that you've done before with big bonuses to help you reach deep. I like that a lot. The muster cards, where are the muster cards? I don't know. These are a little bit more overwrought, I would say. You're doing some things here. You're playing down guys here to get potential situations that can happen. Sometimes they come with a cost, but they let you do something here. Or you're moving this muster person back and forth across the board here, paying provisions to do so in order to take the card. If you take the card, you get a bonus in your diplomacy, and you have to meet these requirements to do so. And if there's a guy on there, you get it. I find that mechanic not that interesting and actually just a bit exhausting. It's just like one too many things in a game that's got a lot of, it's already packed, okay? And if you have, for every 2 of those cards, you get 1 point. So there's a way you can kind of score with that, and that can be, if you really focus on it, you can get some things out of there. But I just found that to be the least interesting part of this expansion for me. I did like the different green cards here. They offer, like for instance, this one lets you discard one of your guys to either activate the bonus over here or activate the bonus over here, or get 2 coins. This one lets you immediately pass your turn. When you do, you get a bump on one of the tracks. So this one lets you move around your development buildings and or just take 2 guys. So I like those actually a lot. And I appreciated the way those worked in and kind of enhanced the board game feel. So that's basically what's going on. The mechanics are similar. They're the same. The only one that's really weird is, I shouldn't say weird, but it just seems a little bit convoluted to this muster mechanic as far as I'm concerned. But everything else is the same. You get a lot more content to kind of wrap your mind around and figure out what you're doing. They definitely tried to balance some certain things. For instance, there's never a place where you'll run out of cards. So there's always a card available, even if you have to pay a big price from the draw deck to get it. And so they make it so you can't be completely boxed out of something, which I think is good. They added a little bit of additional stuff over here on this board. Not that consequential if you don't get all the way down there. And then the AI, they changed some things a little bit to balance it for a bigger game. Now, this is actually set up, or I finished the game here and I made some mistakes, so he scored way bigger than he was supposed to. I was giving way too many workers. But in general, the game retains the same type of feeling, but it does add more setup time and it adds more mechanisms to the game. So let's go ahead and discuss what I think about it from a solo perspective and whether it's something I feel like is essential and nice to have or not so much at all. All right, so I tried my best to give you a flavor for what you're getting with this expansion, and the bottom line I think for me is, if this is a game you play a lot solo and you've been bored a little bit with the actual base game, you've played the base game enough that's gotten a little stale, the expansion is for you. If you play this game once in a while and have to reread the rules and kind of refresh yourself when you're playing it because you kind of go between games for a bit, this expansion may be a pass for you solo-wise, okay? The reason being is because I feel like there is a lot to contend with up here in this game. You have to pay attention to a lot, and once you play it a couple times in a row, of course, you get back into the swing of things and you can do that, but if you're only going to play this casually every now and then, I think that just this expansion adds one too many things to that already large brain space of things you have to plan for and figure out and react to be competitive. That's my take on it. It doesn't make the AI more or less complicated to run. It's just more things that they could do. There's more, cards that they could choose from. There's more things they have to interact with. But it doesn't change, it doesn't add any mechanics that aren't already present in this game on either side, really. It adds the set collection, which is nice. And I think that those cards are probably my favorite part of it. The cards to negotiate and the fact that they let you, do some set collection, but they also let you do some of those other actions where you can discard them to take the action instead of having to do it with a specific, usual 3 or 2 guy combo. So I like those the most. I think that's good. The muster cards, like you said, I wasn't the biggest fan of that, and it's largely because it was hard to work that into my strategy. Every time I seemed like I wanted to muster, oh shoot, I don't have the the provision tokens that I need, or oh gosh, this guy's on the card that I need and I don't have the requirements for this one, or there's always some problem, and playing the guy on there for the specific thing is nice, but I generally found myself being pushed to use my guys in my board versus trying to do a one-off on those muster actions. So they're convenient, they can be helpful, but I didn't find that they added a ton to the game to make this like, wow, this is a sweet mechanic, I really liked it. So I would say my reaction to this expansion is mixed from a solo standpoint. If you're a regular player and you've exhausted this game and you want more and you need some additional things to consider and the solo has become stale or the game's become stale because you've done it so much, this is a perfect expansion for you. I think absolutely go for it. If you're playing it casually every couple of months, and every time you do, you have to reread the rules, I would say avoid this expansion because it's just going to make that process longer. And for what you get, since you're probably not so exhausted by it because you haven't played it as much, I don't think it's necessarily worth the money or especially the effort to refresh yourself in how to do it. So that's my take on it. Your mileage may vary, of course. I really appreciate you watching this video. I hope that whatever you do in the future, you have a fantastic time doing it. Thanks everybody for watching. Take it easy.